Hey everyone, welcome on into an at-home edition of the Cleveland Browns Report by Chat Sports. Matthew Peterson here doing a video about Kirk Cousins not getting released by the Falcons and where the Browns go from here for their search for a quarterback. Sorry, my dog's crying. My fiance just left and she likes her more than me. So let's talk a little bit about what's next for the Browns because I got this one wrong, hand up. I fully expected the Falcons to release Kirk Cousins. I did not believe they wanted to pay him that $10 million roster bonus, and I didn't think they'd want him on their roster anymore after he talked about wanting to play for a different team with the owner and smashing an egg on head coach Raheem Morris's head when he said he played through an injury for the last couple of weeks of the season, and that was not made public at the end of last year for the Falcons. So I got that one wrong. Sorry about that one. Just took a shot and I missed. But I still believe, and maybe this is just me not wanting to, give up this idea. I still believe Kirk Cousins will not be on the Falcons roster for week one. I didn't think they'd pay him a $10 million roster bonus if they anticipated moving on from him before the start of the next season. But I have a very, very tough time believing, let's bring our backup quarterbacks for Michael Penix to have where the backup doesn't want to be here. That's going to really help, bring Penix along in his NFL career and put together a good support system around him. So the only path I really see for the Browns acquiring Kirk Cousins, for anyone still interested in that, is via a trade. And when we talked about Cousins on the show, I was very pro Cousins for the cost to acquire him, right? That was always the biggest pro, was he's going to be released, and he's going to sign for a vet minimum contract like Russell Wilson did last year going from Denver to Pittsburgh. And for what you're paying him, it's not a bad swing. But now that it does not appear the Falcons are going to release him, which I'm going to put a pin in that and come back to it in a few minutes, it would require a trade. And if you're trading for Cousins, back it up a little bit. Now I've got some hurdles here because I liked $2 million Kirk Cousins. Not so sure if I like giving up a draft pick Kirk Cousins. Now, Atlanta wants to trade Kirk because they want someone to take part of that contract, right? I'll also add right now, whenever you look at trading for a player, I beg of you, do not look at that player's cap hit with that team and go, let's say it's $40 million, and go, I don't want to trade for him. We'd be taking out a $40 million cap hit. No, you are not. You do not acquire a player's cap hit from their previous team. You are acquiring their base salary because that gets paid out every week during the NFL season. So your base salary is $20 million divided by 18 weeks, and that's the checks you get every single week. So if you trade for a player halfway through the season, you're only paying the second half of their base salary. So you are acquiring their base salary, which for Kirk Cousins is $27.5 million, and any unpaid roster bonuses. Those can be like workout bonuses, those can be game day bonuses, things like that, okay? Now, $27.5 million is a salary I don't want the Browns to acquire. I don't believe any team trading, and this is just more of like not a fact, but Petey's thought here, I don't believe any team trading for Kirk would actually end up paying $27.5. A few reasons. One, I think the Falcons could say, hey, we'll pay all this for a better draft pick, or we'll pay a lot of it for a better draft pick. That's not uncommon. Teams do that all the time. Two, a team could approach Kirk Cousins in his camp and say, listen, we'd like to trade for you. We're not paying you this contract. So you got to agree when you get here to rip up your old one with the Falcons and sign this new 1 year, 5 to 10, let's call it $10 million contract, which probably seems a little bit on the low end. Daniel Jones just got $13 million from the Colts, and he was worse than Kirk Cousins last year. So I have a hard time believing Cousins will agree, you know what, I will rip up that old contract and go all the way down to the minimum. No, he might agree to a lesser, amount, but it's not going to be as cheap as $2 million when you were going to sign him because he got released by Atlanta. So when it comes to Kirk and what's next for the Browns, it's probably / definitely going to have to be a trade. I just wonder if the only path for him getting to Cleveland without being via trade is if the Browns now call the Falcons bluff, right? Initially, the Browns were like, we think you're bluffing, Atlanta, okay? You're not going to keep him. You're not going to pay him a $10 million roster bonus. You don't want him as a backup quarterback. He just said he played injured last year, and that wasn't on the injury report. That makes you guys look super incompetent. No way, no way, Jose. You're not going to keep him. And the Falcons said, watch us. We will. And they did. Now the Browns go, all right, but we don't think you're going to keep him for week 1. We think when August gets here, you're not, and he's not in it, right? He's not giving his all as a backup. He's not helping Penix get ready for a starting role. We think you're going to release him. It's not good for your roster to have that elephant in the room when August gets here. Right now, there's no locker room, right? You got some guys coming in to work out, but it's not quite the same. And at that point, we will swoop in. That's a bold plan from the Browns, one I don't think they would do. You got to wait till August to find your quarterback? That's not happening. So that's why I say most likely / definitely, if Cousins comes to Cleveland, it's going to be in a trade. So let's talk about what the trade could look like. Put the contract aside for just a second. If you're wondering, hey, what would it cost to get him? Justin Fields got traded from the Bears to the Steelers last year for a 6th-round draft pick that could elevate to a 4th if you played 50% of the snaps. That's probably in the neighborhood of what I expect. A conditional day 3 pick that could escalate if he played a certain amount of games or something along those conditions. Not the worst thing in the world. The condition could be a tough one where if it's 50% and he plays 55% and the Browns suck and they give up a 4th-round pick, people aren't going to be happy. But if you get Kirk Cousins and he plays for you and he plays well and the Browns win 10 games and they go to the playoffs, I don't think anyone's going to be upset next April. Man, we're coming off a playoff appearance, but now we owe the Falcons a 4th instead of a 6th. Darn it. This was a bad trade. If Cousins isn't playing well, then they're just going to bench him. And they're going to go, all right, it costs us a 6th-rounder. I'd be okay with that. You have 4, 5, you have 10 picks altogether in this draft. You have 5 6th-rounders. I'd make that deal. Is anyone really going to, anyone that doesn't want to make that trade just doesn't like Kirk Cousins at all. I don't think it's because they don't want to give up a 6. Give a 5th for Kenny Pickett. A 6 for Kirk is worth the gamble, right? It's probably not great odds, but if it pays off, fantastic. If it doesn't, it's a 6. So that's my 2 cents on it. I'd be okay with the 6, but under the condition of there is a change in the contract for Kirk Cousins. Anything really more than a 6, 5th, 4th, 3rd, absolutely not. That is a non-starter for me. No question, no way at all. So that's the detour. Let me know if you guys would like to trade for Kirk Cousins. Get in the comment section below. Thank you all so much for tuning in. I'm going to get back to watching. I got Florida, Tennessee on in the background, but I still want to get a video out to you. Get the offensive rebound. God damn it. All right. I'll see you guys later.